Y'all, I had the opportunity to chat with Congresswoman Julie Johnson. We talked about football, anchored down, but most importantly, we talked about the government shutdown and what is going on behind the scenes in DC. When we filmed this, it was day 4 of the government shutdown, so check out our conversation.
As long as it's not Bama, at least I think a lot of people can find common ground around that.
That's right. I grew up in Auburn, Alabama, so I'm a big Auburn fan. So that by definition means I hate Alabama.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're on the same team today.
That's right.
Very excited. So day 4 of the government shutdown. Last time we talked, it was approaching the deadline, and now we are here. So can you explain what a shutdown is and why does it happen?
Right. Well, a shutdown every September 30th is the end of the fiscal year for the federal government. And this is a deadline that's on every calendar every year. And the Congress is supposed to go through an appropriations process in order to fund the government and go through the priorities and blah, blah, blah. And there is a safety valve mechanism called a continuing resolution. And what that means is we basically couldn't get it together to pass a regular budget. Instead, we're just going to carry over the old one. And we're going to just roll along because we can't seem to get updated priorities going. And that's what's happened. The Republicans have been unable to pass a budget. They haven't even tried. We're still operating on a continuing resolution from 2024. So this is just crazy that they can't get a budget passed. And so this is kind of the thing. They've had all of this time. They haven't done it. They haven't scheduled hearings. They've had all this time to try to negotiate something on health care. They haven't done it. All they've done is kick people off health care through the big stupid bill. And so here we are. We're at a deadline time. And what they're basically asking Democrats to do is, give us some more time so that we can let more people suffer and have their health care while away. And we promise that this time we actually will talk to you about health care. Even though we've had all of this time, all of these months to do it, they haven't done it. And so we're basically supposed to believe them this time when they have, violated everything they're going to say before. So here we are. Democrats are holding the line because we think healthcare is important.
Yeah, absolutely. And so to be crystal clear, they've known about this October 1st deadline since, March, if not, it's consistent every single year.
That's right. This is a deadline that's on every congressional calendar. This is a deadline that has been on the books since the beginning of time. And so, they've all known it's coming for a long, long time. And it's ridiculous that they haven't, addressed it. So.
And that's crazy. And so you're talking about Democrats wanting to lower healthcare costs. What is this tax credit that we keep hearing about? And I hear insurance companies are already debating raising prices because of this uncertainty. Can you elaborate on that and explain what's going on with that?
Absolutely. So, health insurance is expensive. And so what the Affordable Care Act did is it gave tax credits to lower the cost of the premiums for people. And when you take away these credits, then it makes the cost of the premiums go way, way high. And so, for example, if you have a household income of $85,000 a year, your premiums may be around $7,000. They're going to go to $23,000. That's just unaffordable. If you're younger, and let's say your premium might be $500 or $600 a month now, it's going to go to $1,500 or $1,800 a month. It's just going to skyrocket. And so what does that mean? Well, that means that people just are going to go without health insurance. And so we're going to have millions of people more that have unfunded care in the state. And then coupling that with they're kicking 4 million people off of Medicaid. So our uninsured health population is going to be in the tens of millions in Texas. And our health system cannot survive it. Our hospitals can't take care of that much free care. Our medical providers are going to just close or only go to, really concentrated areas where people have health insurance. And so it's, every medical professional is screaming 911 fire, 5-alarm fire, every consumer group, people who, care about people and their economic survival. And you have to go back to why is this? Why are they willing to cut Why are they not willing to give these tax cuts? Why are they not willing to keep them in place? And that is because they made a choice. They made a choice to give tax cuts to people who make over $10 million in really large corporations, and screw you and screw us all. And so, and that's really kind of where we are. And that breaks it down in as basic a terms as I can.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really sad that, I mean, this is a life or death issue, truly. And like how Republicans are unwilling to save lives in this moment and make healthcare costs, which are already too expensive, more affordable. It doesn't make sense, like, unless they're catering to their billionaire audience, which is what it consistently comes back to. Additionally, Trump is now also threatening mass layoffs of federal workers again.
Right.
But he doesn't need a shutdown to do that, right? He's just kind of using it as a political stunt.
Well, I mean, okay, so just get your head wrapped around this argument. The Republicans are saying, we're going to do really terrible, mean things to the American people to punish Democrats. And we think you're going to feel really bad about the horrible things that we're going to do, so you'll cave. And the American people are going to punish you for caving, as opposed to those of us that instituted all of the really bad, terrible things on the American people. It is the most insane argument I've ever come up with. It's bully, it's aggressive, it's intimidation tactics, it's fascism, it's dictatorship. It's like, if you don't do what I want, then I'm going to punish you to the ends of earth, scorched earth policy on everything you care about. And they just think that the American people are going to sit back and not give a damn, that they're going to just sit back and take it and go, oh, this is also illegals can't have health care. It is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of, because they can't, it's not even a thing now. And so, you know, I think that Democrats are fiercely strong. I mean, we have caucus meetings all the time, either in person or virtually, depending on where we are. And, you know, what I'm hearing from my district is, stay the course, honey, stay strong. We need our health care. And that is exactly what I'm doing. And just in my congressional district, Texas 32, over 100,000 people are on these tax credits and need this to get affordable health care. And so I am resolute because I think health care is a human right. It's something that we all should have access to. It's not something for the privileged only. And we have to fight like hell to keep it.
Absolutely. And I think that's really important, is like the Republican caucus is just trying to spread misinformation and fearmonger and divide people. Undocumented immigrants do not have access to, in most cases, to federal health care programs.
That's right.
And it's just like, it's a misinformation campaign, not rooted in any sort of reality.
Right. It goes in hand with the misinformation that they were only going to deport hardened criminals and all this immigration stupid stuff. You know, just on a side note, I went out and visited a detention center outside of Dallas a couple weeks ago. And, you know, almost 70% of the people there had no criminal history whatsoever. So, I mean, it's just outrageous. You know, you saw what they did in Chicago, taking out a whole apartment complex, zip tying kids naked. I mean, what the hell? This isn't the country that we believe in. This isn't who we are.
It's heartbreaking. I was at the Broadview Processing Center outside of Illinois, the big one that's making all the news, and it was heartbreaking. It was meant to hold people for 12 hours, and they've extended it up to 72 hours, and there's a toilet out in the open, no beds. It's really tragic just to see the Republicans dehumanize people on all fronts, whether it's stripping healthcare or demonizing an entire population. It's a really sickening pivot that we've seen. And, you know, during this time, you would think that they would want to take action and work. Like, we're in the middle of a crisis, a healthcare crisis, a government shutdown. And to my knowledge, House Republicans have kind of been absent from DC. Where have they? Are they in Cancun?
Well, I think they'd probably like to be, you know, and I know that we have a robust chat here. So if people have questions they want us to talk about, put it in there, right? Yeah. And holler at us. But so the Republicans, so the way the Congress works is the Speaker of the House sets the calendar. The Speaker of the House decides when is the House in session and when are we not in session. And they have canceled everything since September 19th. That's the last day that the House was in session. That's 11 days we had no Congress before the shutdown. 11 days, and we are still out. They canceled everything this week, and they canceled everything next week. They do not want to do it, and they say they're trying to put pressure on Senate Democrats. But I think it's just outrageous. It's Republicans trying to skirt their job, not meet the moment head on. They're also trying to avoid the Epstein files. Let's not forget about that. We elected a new Democratic member in Arizona. The speaker's not swearing her in because she's the last vote to sign off on the discharge petition to force the House to subpoena the Epstein files. They're doing everything they can to not be in session because I don't want that to happen. So I think there's a wicked two-headed conspiracy going on. They're doing everything they can to avoid the Epstein files in the name of this shutdown and pushing it off to the Senate. But they're also just putting the American people in great peril. You know, our federal workforce, our military, these Republicans are going to expect our military to go without pay.
It's
Who
shameful.
does that? Our TSA agents to go without pay. Our people who process Medicare, Social Security payments to go without pay. And the list goes on and on and on and on. You know, Congress gets paid, but I volunteered. I sent a letter that says I'm not going to get paid until everybody else gets paid. So I'm like, I'm not going to be one of those, but I bet you every Republican is going to be on the take. They're going to cash their check. I'm not cashing mine. I said, I don't get paid till everybody else gets paid. But, you know, it's a hot mess. And these Republicans are just not doing their job. They're just licking the boot to Trump. And they're going to try everything they can to create as much havoc as they can. And they just don't care about people.
I think that's what it comes down to. Is I think in our last conversation you were talking about how, you know, Democrats really rely on small dollar donors from everyday people who chip in a cup of coffee, who chip in, you know, $10 here and there and where they can, versus these Republicans who rely on these large billionaire donors. And so when you're accountable to everyday people, that's who you're going to work for. When you're accountable to billionaires, this is what you get.
So I hope all of you out there follow me on Instagram and
Yes.
join our campaign. You know, we're a campaign for the people, and we put stuff out all the time. And I always love being with you because you have such a great following and a great message, and it's so awesome to be with you. But we put content out all the time. We're trying to reach people and educate people, and hopefully you and I can do this on a regular because I think it's fabulous.
We'd love that.
I know.
We'd love to. But yes, so I would love to keep talking. I want to be mindful of your time.
Oh,
But I guess,
yeah.
okay, what is your big message to the American people as we go into, I guess, kind of the longer extension of the government shutdown than many expected?
Right. I think it's a couple of things. If you're looking at from the governmental perspective, it's speak your voice. If you care about these issues, if you care about healthcare, pick up the phone, let your elected members hear from you. Don't be silent. Get involved on social media, cheer Democrats on, you know, fuss at Republicans to put a budget together. You know, Senate Democrats, put together a budget. They have a resolution that opens the government and keeps our healthcare. It takes care of it all, and Republicans have voted it down. So to say that Democrats aren't opening the government, that's the most ridiculous thing ever. There's a policy. We have a bill that says can continue everything else and just keep the tax credits, keep everybody insured. And Republicans are like, no, we don't want to do that. So, I mean, be part of the conversation. This is not the time to be silent in this country. The things that we know, everything about being an American and what it means to live in a democracy of the people, by the people, and for the people is on the line. It's being tested in every way possible. So be loud, be vocal, be an American, claim what you know we need to be, and be part of this conversation. And then on a more granular level, be kind to people. People are scared. People are hurting. Some people may be hungry. They may be without a paycheck. Check in with folks. If you know people who work in the federal workforce, they may need some help. And they may need you to buy them dinner, and they may need you to help out. And Just be kind to people and be aware of the fact that people are terrified right now. People, if you're a person of color and your skin isn't white, you're scared that you're going to just be randomly targeted for no reason and hauled off into some abyss. You just live in fear that you might not come home that day. And all these things. And people are scared about their business. Can they order the supplies to keep their next session open because of these tariffs? People are scared about going to the grocery store. It's like, my God, a cart of groceries has gone up. It seems like, for that same cart, you could buy a cart of groceries and it would cost you $100. And now that same cart of groceries is $350. And, it's just, people are really struggling. And so I think it's about being compassionate, love thy neighbor, take care of folks, check in on people, be a good person. And then I think those two things people need to be top of mind.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for all that you're doing. We really appreciate this representation in Texas. I've adopted you as my representative.
I love it.
In the absence of mine.
I love it.
So thank you so much for all that you're doing for this country and the fight that you're putting up. And we're all with you in any way that we can help. Just let us know.
Well, thank you. And just as to close the bookend on this conversation, go Commodores. And
yes, anchor down. Okay, bye.
All right, take care.